Hi, I'm Diane Overmyer. I'm a full-time artist. I love landscape painting, and I have been asked to teach plein air painting at MoonTree Studios. It means in the fullness of, like a plenary session of government or a plenary session at a business conference. I think it's a perfect description for landscape painting because you are out in nature, you're filled, your senses are filled, you feel the wind and the heat or the cold. It just is a total experience, and all that translates through to the canvas. When people connect with nature and they respond to that, their paintings are just filled with life in a way that is very difficult, especially for novice painters, to replicate in a studio setting. I'm really excited to be at MoonTree because not only will you be getting the traditional teaching experience and just many wonderful places to paint as far as subject matter goes, you also will be staying on the property and we'll be eating our meals together. And anytime that happens, it just enriches the experience. All the stresses of life can just fall away, and you can zero in on the painting experience and on enjoying nature, enjoying your fellow students. There's this wonderful camaraderie that happens within each group. And you learn from your fellow students as well. I brought a little 6x6 toned painting panel. This is a little like masonite board, similar to that with the surface on it, and then I've gone ahead and put a rather dark tone on it just because it's such a gray, dreary day from the windows here at MoonTree Studio that I'm looking out on. I call that a roadmap, and that's how I basically start a painting. I'll go in and I'll block in my colors from here, and then we'll talk some more. The block-in is just very loose. There's not a whole lot of precision that has to be done. You're just blocking in your major shapes, and that's how I start a painting. I'm thinking about composition here and the variety of the size of shapes, and all just how someone's eye will move through the painting when it's done. When we are working together in a workshop, we talk about things like atmospheric perspective, value. Value is a big thing that we talk about. Color mixing, mediums, materials, all different types of subject matter we'll go over here in a workshop. The one thing I find with plein air painting that is so wonderful is that people get outside of themselves. They tend to forget about, oh, I have to do everything totally perfect, because you're trying to capture things before the light changes. And that's one of the reasons the brush stroke work becomes nice and soft and fluid, and it just makes for a little more interesting painting all around. My students will often say when they first see me demoing that they're surprised at the color choices I sometimes use. But I find if you push the colors towards a warm or cool color palette, then it just enlivens the painting all the more. Another thing we talk about is how to warm colors and cool colors. We talk a lot about editing in nature because there's so much to choose from that sometimes it can be a bit intimidating to a beginner, but I try to eliminate that intimidation factor and make it as easy as possible for students. Okay, this is a basic block-in that I've just done. I've defined the major shapes, the major composition, and basically put pretty close to the values that I'm going to need. But in the next few steps, if I was doing a live demo, I would go ahead and show ways to up the value differences and to define different edges in different ways so that some elements of the painting come forward while others drop backwards, and also just show people how to add that little bit of spark of detail that brings the painting to life.